Snipers, you have to see what's happening in the Bitcoin price this Saturday, as look at what one of my analysts just sent me. Ethereum long positions right now are being closed, and this in the past historically has indicated a correction for the Ethereum to US dollar pairing. And for Bitcoin right now, check out this symmetrical triangle that we're currently approaching the apex of. There's a lot of volatility potentially here on the weekend. For those that were tuned into our video yesterday, you guys remember I talked about the fact that because equity markets are approaching a major resistance right now, it is critical for Bitcoin to break out in the next 24 to 48 hours before futures markets open on Sunday. So how is that looking so far? Let's dive into the charts. But first, I want to mention exactly why we need Bitcoin to break out this weekend, because check out the Bitcoin 3-day RSI. Remember the 3-day RSI bullish MACD crossover at 20,000 US dollars that predicted this move to the upside for Bitcoin? Well, now we're approaching a major resistance level on the 3-day RSI. And so not only is the equity markets approaching a major resistance level, and what do I mean by that? Well, if we look at the NASDAQ, notice how on Friday we closed testing this downward resistance level that has held the NASDAQ down since the beginning of this bear market, which means that there is a potential that equity markets could open up the week in the blood, in the red, and that could certainly affect Bitcoin, which is why we need Bitcoin to break out in the next 24 to 48 hours. And how is that looking so far? We'll also address Ethereum. So Bitcoin is still inside of this consolidation. It's very clear, but in the macro, we are still above the 200-week moving average. So there's a potential Bitcoin could see a push to the upside at any point. What we would need is a confirmation above 24,300. That's the major resistance level. If we start to see this symmetrical triangle break out to the upside, hourly and 4-hour candles above 24,300 will open up the door for Bitcoin to potentially fill that CME gap that we've been monitoring here around that $29,000 level. And that would also allow the Bitcoin price, just like the NASDAQ, to test the major resistance level that has held it down throughout this bear market. And so what's significant for Bitcoin right now? Well, the most important support level is still the previous weekly open. For the downside scenario, 22,576. If we break below that hourly and 4-hour candle confirmations, it opens up the door for the Bitcoin price to potentially come towards that $21,000 level, where we have the most amount of volume inside of this consolidation. And that would also allow the Bitcoin price to potentially form another higher low, maintaining it as bullish. Because remember what we've been talking about, snipers, as long as the DXY doesn't form any further highs, there's no reason for Bitcoin to break below 17,600 at this point. And the DXY closing the week, not a surprise, at the extremely important level of 106.56. So we still have to consider the DXY undecided. Remember, on August 10th this week, we have CPI numbers coming out. And then let's look at Ethereum really quick, because currently trading at 1714, you can see we're testing this major resistance at 1760. If we can break above 1760, it opens up the door to 2,000 US dollars. The big support right now is 1597. That is the previous weekly open. More importantly, the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, very similar to the S&P 500, trying to break into a higher high, but still forming a lower high. You can see here we have yet to break this high. Very similar to what's going on with the S&P 500, which did not break this consolidation high just yet. And so the NASDAQ is showing a little bit better performance right now, but we know that's approaching a major resistance level, snipers. And so it's not just Bitcoin at the major resistance, the NASDAQ as well, which is why it's critical that we see a breakout in the next 24 to 48 hours. And here's the S&P 500 versus 2008. Why is it so important that we have to monitor the equity markets over the next market open? It's because of the fact that there is still potential downside on the table if the S&P 500 cannot breach this recent high in the consolidation. It could roll over, and if it results in price action like this, then that could certainly affect the Bitcoin price. So with that, thank you all, snipers, for tuning into the channel for this Saturday update. I appreciate each and every one of you tuned into the channel. Smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm if you support this content, and I will see you guys next time. Snipers.